The other big change was Fortifying Brew got nerfed from 1.5 minute cooldown to 3 minutes. Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Mystical. Today I'm going to be answering a question I get quite often in my YouTube comments and on stream, and that is, what do I think about monks going into Shadowlands, specifically Mistweaver? So I'm going to go through every single part of the game, rating, Mythic Plus, RBGs, and Arena, and tell you what my thoughts are on Mistweavers when in that content, and how we stack up against all the other healers. With that said, let's jump right into it. So I want to start off by talking about Mythic Plus and RBGs, just because if you do either Mythic Plus or RBGs, you are looking so beautiful right now. I think Mistweavers are the best in RBGs, and I think we're second to Resto Druids and Mythic Plus. So if you do those forms of content in WoW, 100%, I have no complaints. I have zero complaints about Mistweavers in those areas of the game. I've done a few Mythic Plus. Our healing is very good. The Renewing Mist is nice, as long with a Tier of Mourning in RBGs and Mythic Plus. Both, you just do so much healing, and you're not like brought down by your lack of utility, I guess. And the reduced cooldown of paralysis is really good for setting up crowd control on mobs in Mythic Plus and in RBGs. So I just want to touch on that really quickly. I really enjoy Mythic Plus on my Mistweaver, and I think Resto Druids are much better, but the reason why Mistweavers I think will be still viable is because of our Mystic Touch passive, which makes enemies take 5% additional damage when you damage them. So basically, if marksmanship hunters, arms warriors, any spec of rogue is good, I think Mistweavers are going to be one of the go-to healers, just because 5% increased physical damage is really good. So I'm excited for Mythic Plus, this expansion, as well as RBGs, because I think Mistweavers thrive and shine in both of those areas. So let's talk about rating. We'll throw a little curveball here. I'll talk about PvP in a little bit, but let's talk about rating. So for those of you who don't know, I am cutting edge. We killed Mythic Nazoth. We've been farming it for about 10 or 11 weeks now. So in my experience, it just seems like Mistweavers do not have the utility that other healers have that make guilds want to use them. For example, priests, disc priests have Dome of Light, an AoE damage reduction for your raid. Shaman have Spirit Link Totem. Resto Druids have Iron Bark, Tranquility, Bear Form. They have all these tools, utility that will help. They have a damage reduction, which is really nice. I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, Holy Palace have Devotion Aura, the Bubble Sack. They have so many bops. They have so many cooldowns. And then monks, all we have is revival and healing. And the problem is they want Mistweavers to just be a healing output class, and the problem is that we aren't the best at it. We have the least amount of utility and one of the lowest healing per seconds. I think I was looking at some of the mythic logs, and we're like maybe 4 or 5 out of all the healers. So yeah, we're not even good at the one thing we're supposed to be good at, which is unfortunate. I've seen some ideas thrown out there. I'll make a separate section after I talk about PvP, about maybe potential changes. But overall, for rating, my healing is okay. But as far as team utility or like helping the raid out and feeling useful, it's just not there, unfortunately. It's just the same healing turret, pretty much. I just feel like a heal bot the entire time. I feel like I don't offer the raid pretty much anything besides a 3-minute revival every once in a while when we don't have Spirit Link or Devotion Aura. It really doesn't feel that good. Now, our healing is fine, but I want to do more than just heal. Now, talking about more than just healing, I'll talk about PvP, and this is specifically Arena. I talked about RBGs earlier. I think we're so good in RBGs. I love it. Now in threes now, again, it's actually kind of similar to raids, where we don't have the utility and all we're good at is healing, and we're not even the best at it, unfortunately. We have to compete against Resto Shaman that have Wind Shear, Grounding, Hex, Spirit Link Totem that's really good in dampening, and Druids that have Iron Bark, Bark Skin that they could use while stunned. They have really good HOTS, they have Cyclone, Bash, they have all these CCs, they have utility, and we have Disarm, and we die. I've died in a Stormbolt. Now, that could be a tuning issue, but I'm not being able to use anything while stunned is just brutal for Mistweaver because, again, we're going to the expansion where nothing's changed. We have the same weaknesses. We can get crowd control very easily. And if we use our port to avoid crowd control, they just swap to us and we die. And then we can also die in a stun. Any stun. When I tell you any stun, we can die in any stun. And with the nerf to Fortifying Brew, you know, there's times where it looks like teams are swapping to you, so I'll press Fortifying Brew, and then they don't swap to me, you know? And then in BFA, at least in a minute and a half, you know, I'll have Fortifying Brew back, but in Shadowlands, that's a 3-minute cooldown. That's a 3-minute cooldown, and it's kind of unfortunate. I think we'll be okay. We're definitely middle of the road healers in PvP. You know, Resto Shaman, Resto Druids, and even Disc Priest are by far better than us, which is fine. And then we have probably Holy Paladin and Mistweaver in the middle, and then probably Holy Priest at the bottom again, which is kind of unfortunate for them. Now again, our healing is fine. Don't get me wrong, our healing is fine, and we might even be good if some certain comps are good. For example, if Affliction Warlock Shadow Priest is going to be insane, you know, healing Spheres is going to be tier 1. It's going to be amazing. You just play Healing Spheres, just have your teammates run through it. You'll be chilling. You'll be fine. But outside of that, if melee comps are going to be good, we do struggle with mana, and they can kill us. If RMP is insane, like they were in BFA, it's going to be pretty rough because we'll just get CC'd and our teammates will die. Damage is very high. I would like to offer some changes, potentially, to Mistweaver and to maybe just Monk in general. Just some ideas that, you know, people in the stream, people have commented, ideas I've thought of, and I don't know, comment if you have an idea about Mistweaver, if you want to see some improvements. I'd love to hear what you guys think, but I have a few, you know, just a few suggestions. My biggest one, first of all, you know, this invoke Chi-Ji, invoke Yu'lon, it just feels awkward. When I spec into Chi-Ji, I lose statue and Yu'lon. I lose an ability to only gain one, so it feels weird. My idea is to maybe make Chi-Ji and Yu'lon different stances. So get rid of the ability completely and just make it 2 different stances with the same, you know, with the same effects that you use stances. That way you could reward people or Mistweavers for finding time to do damage, you know? If I'm a Mistweaver and I can see I have time to do damage, I hate that I have to rely on a cooldown to do healing with damage. You know, it'd be really cool to reward Mistweavers that find the time in the boss fights, in the trash packs, in the arena, and RBGs, and let them do damage, reward them for it, you know, and then have that stance do the same thing Chi-Ji does, and then have the other stance, you know, do what Yu'lon does now. Maybe it procs Yu'lon every once in a while, something like that. Just let, you know, I hate having to rely on a cooldown to be able to do healing, which is sad because the legendary teachings of the monastery was good, but in PvP it's not going to be used because you have to use Essence Font, which is kind of sucky. Another thing is I feel like Mistweavers need some kind of damage reduction, something. Maybe bake it into Renewing Mist. If Renewing Mist is on somebody, make it a legendary, and if Renewing Mist is on your target, they take, I don't know, 3%, 5% less healing, or less damage. You know, that way in raids, reward Mistweavers for pumping out those Renewing Mist and maintaining them. In arenas, teams can play around it. If they have a purge, they just purge it, and then, you know, if they don't have a purge, you have really good, you know, damage reduction, which I think is really, really good. Also, bring back cancel roll. Being able to control your mobility and not be punished for using your mobility is a really good idea. I'd like to be able to cancel roll. It's just a nice quality of life change, and it's kind of game breaking. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's one of the most game breaking things that they've removed from the game, especially from Mistweavers or monks in general. And finally, a lot of classes got some really cool spells back, and Mistweavers got Touch of Death. Now, hey, you know, it's fine, you know, it's useful. We'll find a use for it, of course, but, you know, they were like Mistwalk, they could have brought that back, maybe change it so it doesn't go Z-axis or something. Dematerialize would have been nice. Make that like a PvP talent or something. It doesn't need to be as insane as it was in MUP. You can give us Disable or Spearhand Strike. That would be like, imagine if you could slow your target, or imagine in PvE if you could kick a cast, you know, having that utility. Overall, it just seems like Mistweavers again feel like just a healing bot. We're just a healing bot with no utility. And I'm sure in progression raids, they'll be fine. Mistweaver. I mean, we'll heal. We can heal. It's just, and I doubt you see any Mistweavers in the race to world first or any of the top rating guilds, just because we just don't have what the other healers have. In arena, we're middle tier because we don't do as much damage as Disc Priest, and we don't have as much utility as Resto Shaman and Resto Druid. So that's why we're kind of middle tier right now. We're just healing bots. Some form of utility would be great, damage reduction or anything. Another change would be able to use Life Cocoon while stunned. I would literally, I wouldn't even care if that was a legendary. Just make it so I can use Life Cocoon while stunned again. This way, I can use it for swaps to me, or if a team is setting up a stun into CC on me, Rogue Mage, Cheap Shot into Poly, I could at least cocoon my teammate. Right now, my best cooldown in arena is Trinket, and it just feels, I don't know, like not too good. A little bit of an overview here. Mythic Plus and RBGs, I say we're one of the best. Mythic Plus, we're probably second to Resto Druids. In RBGs, I think we're the best. In raiding, I don't think our healing is not the best, and we lack utility, so probably not one of the best. Probably middle tier, low middle tier. And then in arena, we're definitely middle tier. There's better healers. Resto Druid, Resto Shaman, Disc Priest are definitely much better than us. So with that said, that's pretty much it. I just want to give my thoughts on Mistweaver. I get asked this question quite often. We're gonna be okay though. I'm looking forward to Shadowlands. I'm looking forward to playing it, and I can't wait to see. Maybe we'll get some more changes. Who knows? We'll see. We still got a few. We got a few days. We got 10 days, 8 days, something like that. But that's pretty much it. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you later.